My mother was a millionaire, but she used to save on absolutely everything.
And don't flash when you're done. We'll do it in the evening, when everyone's done their business.
Once again, my mother reminded me of how expensive water was and that we had to save it. But I just had my first period and I urgently needed to take a shower.
What? No, we only shower on Saturdays. If I showered every time I had one of these days, I would be broke.
She not only forbade me from turning on the water, but she also refused to buy me menstrual pads.
Are you out of your mind? They are insanely expensive. Give me some of your old t-shirts.
My mother was obsessed with saving, even though she kept almost $1 million in the pantry. But we have money.
Have you forgotten? We need it to get your dad back.
My father came from a rich family and left my mother while she was still pregnant because she was too poor for him.
Soon, he'll find out that we are millionaires. And he'll come back. Then, we'll finally live like a normal family.
I didn't know my dad. All I got from him was a chest set and his green eyes. I was very angry at him for being absent, as he caused my mother to love money more than she loved me. I was very hurt and lonely, but I had no one I could share my pain with. I had no friends. Everyone at school despised me because I had been wearing the same clothes for years. One of those days became the worst one ever. My mother's homemade pads started leaking, and the whole bus laughed at me. In tears, I went home and decided to act. Mom, I want to help you get $1 million. I want to have a normal family as soon as possible. My mother's eyes lit up and she immediately agreed.
If you stand right here, you'll be able to collect a few $100s a day. People are super generous when they see a poor orphan.
I was shocked because I wanted to work, not panhandle. Yet, she didn't care.
I will be waiting for you to bring home some money tonight.
I felt like the loneliest person in the world again. Hopeless, I started to wander aimlessly. That's when, all of a sudden, a chess piece fell near my feet. I turned around and saw men playing chess. That game was my only pastime since childhood. So I had an idea. Gentlemen, $50 to whoever wins. And of course, $50 to me if I win. The men laughed at me, but one of them agreed to play with me. Of course, I didn't even have $1, so I couldn't afford to make a single mistake. I remembered everything I knew about combinations and I won! My victory quickly became a sensation. Experienced players couldn't believe that a little girl could play at such level. They immediately formed a line, hoping to beat me. But none of them could. A week later, I handed a pretty big sum of money to my mother.
Unbelievable! I hope you earned this legally. You know what? I don't really care. Give it to me.
I played non-stop for several months and earned a lot of money. Still, my mother was never satisfied. She always wanted more. Winter came and the cold was unbearable. But my mother forced me to keep playing. Gritting my teeth from the cold, I kept sitting in the park. One day, someone put a warm coat over my shoulders. It was the very first chess player I had beaten. The old man looked suspiciously at me and the chess set. And suggested we play again. In the end, he let me win.
Here, take double. And please go home. It's terribly cold.
After that, the old man, whose name was Mark, would show up every day. He would bring me hot tea and sandwiches while making the highest of bets. He was actually interested in my life. The stranger became the first friend I ever had. And when I was transported to the hospital, he immediately went there.
The man from the park said that she passed out. I called all the hospitals.
Mark found me in a critical condition. According to the doctor, I had pneumonia. My mother lied and told the hospital that she couldn't afford the treatment and left me to the fate. Mark paid for my medical expenses and visited me every day. Eventually, my mother learned that I had recovered and decided to show up.
Oh, you're still alive? So, when can you start playing chess again?
She had already had $1 million, but she wanted me to continue working for her.
Leave your daughter alone. I will be her guardian from now on.
My mother wondered why a stranger would do such a thing.
Lily's not a stranger to me. She's my granddaughter.
As it turned out, my grandfather recognized his old chess set. It was the same one he had given to his son several years back.
My son didn't grow up to be the best person, and I'm not proud of that. But his child should not suffer because of his bad decisions.
My mom knew that Mark was rich and decided to make some extra money.
I will give up being my daughter's guardian for $1 million.
How dare ye? She's a person, not an object.
My mother told him that it was up to him. After all, she planned on making more money out of me anyway. When I came to my senses, Mark told me all about my mother's cruel offer. And with tears in my eyes, I begged him to take me away from her. You were the first person that was ever nice to me. I will play chess for the rest of my life to pay you back.
No, dear. I owe it to you because I didn't save you earlier.
In the end, my mother got her millions, but my father had no interest in her. With or without the money. And I finally learned what having normal and loving family was.
My daughter was 10. when her body started changing. Her peers made fun of her and pointed fingers. Other parents reassured their children that it was okay. But I knew it wasn't. My Danny would not look like that. In order to make my daughter look her age, I tightly wrapped her body with a bandage. Danny cried, but it was for the sake of her career. My daughter was making a lot of money, being the top actress at the leading talent agency. She was in films and commercials, but all of that could end in the blink of an eye. A child with breasts. Who would want something so cringy? On the set, it became clear to everyone that Danny's size had changed. I was told to come up with a solution.
Danny needs to lose weight. The agency is counting on her.
I apologized 300 times, and she promised to fix her image. Danny started training every day, following a rigorous program worthy of an Olympic champion. I wanted her waistline to shrink, as well as her breasts. I also had Danny follow a very strict diet. And I locked the fridge, so the food wouldn't distract her. However, all my efforts were in vain. No matter what I did, Danny's breasts were getting bigger. I simply couldn't compete with nature.
This is it, Claudia. We don't have roles for a child with breasts. The agency is terminating the contract.
My mother ran the talent agency, and I couldn't let her down, so I asked for one last chance. I found a great plastic surgeon. They would be able to solve our problems. I made arrangements for an urgent procedure, and it was all so fast that Danny didn't even get time to get scared.
Mom, does it hurt?
It was just business to me, nothing personal, at least until I heard a painfully familiar sound. It immediately reminded me of something that happened 10 years before. My mother dreamed of me becoming a model and even named me after a 19th supermodel. When I was in my early 20s, I started gaining weight. And then I found out that I was pregnant. My mother told me to get rid of the baby. But I didn't, and promised her that Danny would be successful. When the time came for me to leave the operating room, I stopped and realized that I was betraying my own child. I was doing the same thing my mother did to me all those years ago. So I took Danny's hand and apologized to her. I canceled the surgery and went to see my mother, placing the contract right in front of her.
I hope it's important. Can't you see I'm busy?
I told her that it was very important. After all, it concerned me and my child. I announced that Danny would be leaving the agency. In order to have a normal childhood and not have to live up to someone's expectations. I told my mother that she was welcome in our house, but she never visited Danny. My child didn't lose much because of that. Plus, after leaving the agency, her smile never left her face ever again. A child is a flower that won't grow when watered with the parents' unfulfilled ambitions.